We are in no shortage of the quartering slop, and it just keeps going. By the time that this video goes live, it's probably going to be late, honestly, because I think it's like a week old by the time this video goes live. But yeah, the TheQuartering deactivated his Twitter account. He's had his Twitter account for a long time, so to me, that really communicates that all this, like, lolcow drama and all this drama, whether it's, like, surrounding Kino Casino, whether it's surrounding himself and just, like, being a lolcow and, like, him making a fool of himself, it clearly has gotten to him after a while, and I guess he just decided, fuck it, I'm deactivating my Twitter account. I mean, truthfully, Twitter is brain rot garbage anyways, and I don't encourage anyone use Twitter too often. Unless you're, like, putting out short-form content. Like, it's generally speaking not good to be active on Twitter 24/7. It's a bad habit. The majority of people on Twitter are just not real people anyways, so yeah. But, we got an internet versus video on it. We're just chilling today.
The TheQuartering drama has continued to escalate more and more, where now it has resulted in entire channels of the TheQuartering getting deleted, him deactivating his Twitter account, and more. Jeremy started by announcing that all of his old live streams had mysteriously been deleted, and rushed to blame false flaggers for being the likely culprit.
Interesting. I wonder if maybe he deleted them himself, because we know that the TheQuartering does have a history of lying, so it's possible that he deleted them himself and he's just blaming his other friends for it.
The entire channel for a podcast that Jeremy ran with two co-hosts, Bearing and Count Dankula, was also removed from the platform, resulting in Jeremy even DMing Bearing and blaming him for fanning the flames. However, after some surface-level investigation, it was revealed that the channel wasn't flagged down, but rather manually deleted.
Yeah, I mean, I figured. It just makes sense, because there's probably a lot of damning clips that the TheQuartering could have taken out of context, potentially taken out of context, but even in context, it's worse. Like, every time I see the TheQuartering, like, new clips surface, and he just gets worse and worse.
Including being deleted off of multiple platforms. Jeremy eventually admitted to being responsible, but blamed it on a miscommunication with his editor, saying he told his editor people were ruining his life with 10-year-old live streams and to delete everything, but he wasn't clear on what that actually meant.
That's very dumb, if true. It could be believable, though, honestly, but again, this is the TheQuartering we're talking about. He's known for lying.
But there's a lot to get into, so let's just jump in. Welcome to the internet versus the TheQuartering's deactivation. It starts when Andy Worski tweets out a screenshot of the TheQuartering, who's responding to a screenshot of Kino.
Andy Worski, by the way, is one of the two hosts on the Kino Casino livestream.
Casino, where they're adding Team YouTube, saying it's been a month since the clip channel was taken down, and Team YouTube.
Right, yeah, so in case you guys are living under a rock and you're not aware of the TheQuartering lore, I'll give you just a breakdown. Basically, Kino Casino, on their segments, have been talking about the TheQuartering a lot. And they've been making fun of him. There are times where they can get a little bit crazy, admittedly. And they're definitely not my cup of tea, always. But they're funny, they got jokes, they're comedians. And a lot of their content is satire. It's not really harassment. And there is, like, legitimate criticism amongst that content. Basically, the TheQuartering, eventually he got upset after a while, and he blamed it on them making fun of his wife and then bringing his wife into it, despite the fact that the TheQuartering talks about his wife and makes his wife a public figure amongst all his social media platforms. So they're not really exposing his wife. They're just going based on public information that the TheQuartering has put out there. I think it's kind of a low blow to make fun of somebody's wife, but mainly a lot of the jokes are talking about the bull, TheQuartering being a cuck and, like, him getting cucked by another guy, basically. That's where a lot of the jokes stem from. I don't personally think it's a good thing to go after someone's life. Wife, sorry, not life. It's a low blow, but ultimately, that does not warrant what the TheQuartering did next, and he wound up getting the Kino Casino clips taken down. So, yeah, that is just not a good way to get people to like you, is if you're falsely taking channels down for harassment. That's the part that a lot of people understandably had an issue with.
responded saying their team is taking a closer look to ensure we provide the best resolution. TheQuartering quote tweets this by saying, "Please baby Jesus unban them. Surely the wrongful unending harassment will stop after. They were not banned for harassment, it was ban evasion. So maybe YouTube was wrong." And Worski replies, "No, Jer, we were not ban evading." TheQuartering decides to double down in threads. "There is no ban evading involved at all. You got us taken down unjustly." And Jelt replies, "He's wasted again. Typos galore." Attaching this reply to Quartering where Valorum says, "Have another drink, pal." And Quartering responded, "So if they are unbanned, you will stay being a bag?"
What the fuck is happening? Dude, you can tell, like, it's not a secret. If you've been tuning into the Quartering lore, he's an alcoholic. Now, God bless, hopefully he deals with that offline. Having an alcohol addiction is no fucking joke, so maybe, hopefully he'll join, like, an Alcoholics Anonymous crew. I have a hard time feeling bad for the Quartering, given how kind of he's just been like a shitty person over the years. And a lot of the communities that he's hung out in, whether it's the Magic the Gathering community, whether it was his old IT channel, whether it's now with his right-wing spaces, or at Renaissance fairs, he has a huge history of just like sexually harassing women and just being a weird freak. So it's hard for me to feel bad for him. But, you know, I would never wish for the worst of the worst to happen to him.
And Valorum says, "I can't understand your drunken keyboard mashing." Raw Sauce Bro says, "He's such a disingenuous piece of shit. He really thinks we will believe that he had nothing to do with it. Still, to this day." Yuppie replies to Worski by saying, "You were 100% ban evading. The Kino Casino channel was made about 3+ years ago. You only recently got unbanned a couple months ago. That doesn't suddenly mean all the time the Kino Casino channel was active prior to the unban goes away."
Well, I don't know if that necessarily means that they were ban evading, though. Again, there's like a lot of discourse. I still, to this day, have no idea what, like, the Kino Casino were originally banned for. Did they, like, take it too far with some of their jokes? I don't know what that really means.
And Mr. Blitzy replies, "Except Andy didn't have ownership over the channel, dumbass."
Right, I remember that their editor was in charge of the Kino Casino channel for a while. And I mean, Keemstar's original channel, way back in the old days of YouTube, got terminated. And for the loophole that Keemstar found was having somebody else own the Drama Alert channel for a while he was on the channel. And eventually he was able to just get his own YouTube channel after a certain point. So it wasn't really considered ban evading. He found like a loophole.
And Yuppie says, "Why are we pretending the channel called Kino Casino Clips isn't theirs? That it isn't a way to get around the ban? Both Ashton and Andy routinely call it their channel. I don't like the Quartering either, but let's not play dumb. It was their content." PPP tweets out,
I mean, yeah, but like that would mean that I don't think that they own the channel, probably because they can still get around the loophole. I don't know if YouTube is very good on cracking down on the loophole. I'm pretty sure to this day you can still use that loophole and be fine, but maybe I'm wrong on that.
Quartering refuses to just humble himself, take a simple L, and move on. He flails and attacks other popular creators, worsening his position and burning bridges. Then deletes everything after looking incredibly weak and guilty. Not mentally well. Needs help. Sad. And Fresh replies to this screenshot of Jacob replying to Quartering, saying, "It's my understanding that they weren't ban evading, am I wrong?" And Quartering says, "Okay, then let them be restored." And Ajax replies to PPP by saying, "He tried to go cold turkey and sober up over week, but over the weekend he couldn't take it anymore and relapsed hard. Never forget that he said drunk words were sober thoughts."
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say that when you are drunk, that the real authentic you comes out. That's why when a lot of men who sexually assault women or sexually harass women while they're drunk, oftentimes that's really how they think or what they want to do. And so being drunk is not an excuse to do either of those things.
Or Quartering.
Listen, I have been hella drunk in the past, and I have never sexually harassed or sexually assaulted women while I was drunk. So, yeah.
Tweets were made and bad banner screenshots, some of them. We're here starting at the bottom. Bearing says, "Hey, the Quartering, are you going to acknowledge Tism?" And Quartering says, "What does this even mean? We gonna do a new episode? I'm ready." And then 30 minutes later, he tweets out, "Every live stream I have ever done has now disappeared from YouTube, and my podcast channel with 2 friends seems to have been banned. I'm sure it's totally not false flaggers and just a coincidence, but please take a moment to create a Rumble account and follow the Quartering there. Maybe it's a glitch and they will reappear, but based on everything going on, I'm not confident. And Joe Hydra replies, oh yeah, someone just happened to be able to get his live streams only removed, but not the videos off his channel. Seriously. And Randall Flagg says he's so bad at this whole lying thing. If anyone was to false flag his channels, it would be ones like Jeremy Hambling and TheQuartering channels he's still making money on and posting stolen content, not all the dead channels that have evidence of who he is on them. Andy Worski quote tweets Bad Banners a screenshot by saying, TheQuartering deleted his YouTube channel with all the podcasts with Bering and Count Dankula. He is now saying he was false flagged, when not only is there no evidence he was flagged, but we can see if someone was banned. He was tired of people using clips from there to felt him, but everything is archived already, Jer.
Well, I mean, it's pretty, like I said, it's pretty clear that the reason why TheQuartering did this is because after a while, Kino Casino got to him, and he just couldn't take it anymore. And he tried to ignore it as best as he could, and after a certain point, he just couldn't take the fucking criticism, or couldn't take being made fun of.
And over on Jeremy's...
And he's just giving them more fuel.
Post, Shuan had replies to it by saying, but we can see when a channel/a video is flagged down versus when the owner deletes it themselves. Here is your Tism channel versus Kino Casino Clip channel that was banned. Why lie about something like this? And we have this screenshot here that says this channel is not available, which is TheQuartering's. And then we have this screenshot here for Kino Casino that says this account has been terminated for a violation of YouTube's terms of service. Then Bering gets involved in the situation and posts this DM with the caption, how did we get simultaneously banned from YouTube and Rumble, TheQuartering, showing DMs of Quartering messaging Bering saying, looks like the channel is gone. Thanks for fanning the flames, Bering. Great friendship.
God. It's fucking insane how much TheQuartering lies in this situation. All the lies are catching up to him. Every single one of them. And I don't think TheQuartering's lolcow status is going away anytime soon. He really is shaping up to be the lolcow of 2026. You know, we had iDubbbz from last year. We had Pirate Software as well. That was another one. And now we have TheQuartering. It seems like he is our next lolcow.
And Bering replies, what are you talking about? The channel hasn't been banned and has no violations whatsoever. All the videos have been deleted. I didn't do it. Dank didn't do it. That leaves you. Showing a screenshot of the Incredible Salt Mine channel with no copyright strikes and no guideline strikes. And Matt Jarbo replies, there's a high probability that you have a group of people working together in a Discord organizing mass flagging campaigns. And since you can easily create a brand new YouTube account in literal seconds, it's not difficult for an organized group of people to take down whole channels. In the direct aftermath of what happened with me, there was a Discord server run by Ralph with over 3,000 people that were actively organizing campaigns to go after my videos through mass downvoting and what I can only assume would be mass reporting as well. Even one of Ralph's lieutenants named Wild Goose pretended to be a video game journalist and filed the false copyright claim against one of my videos that's cited in an article.
Imagine being so terminally online you have nothing better to do than to hang out in a fucking Discord channel, make tons of like burner accounts just to like false flag a fucking YouTube channel because you just hate a person that much. That couldn't be me. Like, I genuinely cannot think of a worse thing to do with your spare time than to just hang out in these fucking Discord servers or hang out on these like forums areas and just like false flag tons of like other content creators. That seems like the most insanely terminally online behavior of all time.
With what's happening right now, all the drama is giving cover for a lot of people to cause a lot of chaos. But since nobody truly wants to have that conversation, a lot of other stuff is this going to be thrown out there as fact. And Foros replies, so the YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, and the Odyssey were all struck down simultaneously? Come on, Jarbo. And Jarbo says, I didn't know about the others outside of YouTube, but I would assume that he is probably now deleting everything. But I do stand by what I said about like the people working behind the scenes, especially in regards to the other videos that were taken down. And Try Gremlin says, your perspective is certainly a unique and valid one, but given all circumstances, it seems likely that Jer is drunk purging old content to stop clippers. Teal Noodles replies to Matt Jarbo by saying, some people honestly love to stoke the fire. The more videos get taken down, the more vitriol he'll face, regardless of whether he's flagging or not. I'm sure it's a combo of his actions plus outside actors, though you already know how I feel about most of this. And Jarbo says, yeah, it's probably a combination of both. I know that in my specific situation, there was a lot of shit happening behind the scenes that I saw firsthand, but couldn't really say anything about it at the time because nobody would care. Then Bering continues to tweet out saying, Jeremy just deleted all content from the Tism podcast channel which he co-hosted with Count Dankula and myself. Not privated, not unlisted, deleted. Without so much as a heads up, up to his co-hosts. Tism was never a huge podcast, but it had a loyal audience that stuck with us for 7 years. For a period of time, we went live from midnight to 2 or 3 a.m. my time to cater for the mostly US audience. It was a love of the game podcast. Now it's erased from history because Jeremy can't handle online banter. You get what you deserve. And Aiden Paladin replies, I remember how late it was for you to be on that show at the time and thinking how difficult it must be to organize a live stream across the planet when you guys were doing Tism. I'm so sorry he's done you and Dank dirty like this. Lost History says, can't wait to hear that ass clown of Melanie Mack claim this is fake and that Jeremy is just the bestest good boy who ever good boyed.
I don't even know if Melanie Mack herself understands the extent of what's going on, because Melanie Mack has made it clear several times during the Quartering's lolcow phase that she refuses to even try to figure out what is going on with the Quartering or investigate some of his older clips because he's a friend of hers. She actively just refuses to educate herself on the situation. It's kind of pathetic. In right-wing grifting spaces, she's it's one thing to be biased because you're friends with somebody, but this is honestly embarrassing. You're not even gonna educate yourself on a situation. You're not even gonna look at the material people have been bringing up, and you're not even gonna look into the situation that he's been doing, which is objectively something that you should be calling out and criticizing him for.
Back to the Bearing post that we read, Corey Wilson replies to Bearing by saying, man, this triggers PTSD from my last days of drinking. Just going through all kinds of crazy in a dreamlike state and wrecking everything.
No kidding, man. I mean, listen, alcohol problems are no fucking joke, and genuinely, God bless anybody that's dealing with, alcohol addiction, needs to go into, an Alcoholics Anonymous program and everything. So God bless, but Jesus Christ, dude, it's still not an excuse to do some really, really shitty behavior. If Jeremy is sexually harassing people or he's engaging in really shitty behavior while he's drunk, that's still not an excuse.
If he didn't have such a detailed history of fuckery for all to see, I'd truly feel a bit bad for him as an alcoholic who is 4.5 years sober. I still think he could probably fix his life if he got sober, but his YouTube career is over and nothing can save that now. Count Dankula, the other podcast co-host, also makes tweets about the situation, saying, for sake. Love waking up to seeing years of work going right down the tubes. Tism has been completely deleted on multiple platforms. All episodes. If me and Bearing can restore it, we will, but that was tons of episodes and I doubt we can get them all back. And James Walker says, thank you for at least trying, man. I know you try to steer clear of drama, but I really enjoyed—
I mean, I don't know, dude. A lot of these people are right-wing. You see, I don't really have a lot of commentary to give in regards to Tism because there's a lot of right-wing people that are engaged with it, so it's a little bit tough for me to feel bad for some of these people, but I can also understand the feeling of years of work just going down the drain, so that does suck, especially considering when the Quartering kind of fucked them over. It really is insane that he didn't actually consult the other people on the podcast, because clearly he had somebody do it for him, or clearly to some extent he had somebody take those streams down, and I'm leaning towards the belief that the Quartering probably had some damning clips on there and he didn't want them viewed online, so he just decided to take them down himself.
So I appreciate you trying. And Count Dankula quotes him by saying, I have a rule of taking things to DMs with someone I have a history with, and I talk to them privately if I have a problem with them, which is what I've been doing the past few weeks. Mentally haven't had it in me for a while to be involved in drama, but years of my and Bearing's work getting pointlessly yeeted has me pretty furious. Yeah, I understand that Tism wasn't some major popular podcast and we never even really advertised it to grow it, and that ended up becoming a big meme with the show where it was a secret special show for a small audience of the real G's who properly followed all our work. It's just genuinely such a waste after all that work we put in. Baron then also makes a third tweet about the situation where he says, I don't like releasing DMs, but when you take down 7 years of my content without warning, while claiming you're a good boy and would never censor anyone, you can get TheQuartering. Throughout this whole show, which you started, I've tried to be fair. You just took off the gloves, so I will too. This is from 30th of April, and there are DMs attached where TheQuartering is reaching out to Bearing, saying, lol, hope 60k views was worth it. Did you not think the video was fair? And Quartering says, I didn't watch it. The fact that it was even made was wild. 10 years of friendship equals the 60k views, lol. I would love to signal boost your wife's channel, getting demonetized. I really hope she gets it back, but I can't because I'm the wrong voice now. And And Bering says, yeah, I think you should watch it, mate. And Quartering says, pass. The same reason I didn't make videos on Dankylo's divorce and all the wild accusations against him. Even defending him would have been bringing more light to garbage in his life. You 100% have the right to make the video. Then he sends a link and says, cool, but you were basically the last person I expected to try to profit off this. Now I get to embrace the villain character, which is much easier. I wish you the best, man. Seriously, not ironically. Now I'm just going to do all the shit people accuse me of because it literally doesn't matter, lol. My viewers don't give a fuck about 20 years ago internet culture.
Well, of course they don't. You, like, cultivated a bunch of fucking weird right-wing freaks that don't purity test each other enough. You know, you can criticize the left for purity testing too much, I understand. It gets very annoying, especially on TikTok, Twitter. There's tons of, like, far leftists that purity test for the very, very, very small things and really unnecessary things, and it's very disconnected from reality. But we really need to criticize the right for not purity testing each other enough. Like, we have to understand that rape and pedophilia has become acceptable because the goalpost has shifted and the allegations of Trump being in the Epstein files, refuses to release the Epstein files because he's most likely a pedophile that raped kids on Epstein Island. Most likely. That's why he won't release it. And so the goalpost has shifted from, oh my god, LGBTQ people are the biggest groomers on the planet. And then the goalpost now shifts to, oh, 15 and 16-year-olds. Really not that big of a deal. At least he wasn't doing it with 8-year-olds, which, by the way, not true. Jeffrey Epstein was doing weird, freaky shit with kids as young as babies. We know this from the Epstein files. And it's just convenient to shift the goalpost because people on their side are more guilty of it. So, like, it makes sense that the right just doesn't purity test each other enough. No shit, Jeremy.
Bering says, if I wanted to profit off it, I would have made a bunch of videos from the minute this kicked off. I waited until I spoke to both sides and I released a very measured statement because I was being dragged into this. You weren't being dragged into Dank's divorce. I didn't bring any personal stuff into my video.
Basically what this entire internet versus video is leading up to, it really seems like TheQuartering. I didn't realize that this is what kicked it off. I didn't realize that, like, this whole Tism podcast being fucking deleted is what caused TheQuartering to delete his account. I thought it was just, like, from everything. I still think technically it is from everything because TheQuartering is getting involved in multiple dramas from left, right, and center, and he's being tied to so much shit, and so, like, he probably got overwhelmed and then deleted his fucking Twitter. But still.
In fact, I stated that I was staying away from the rumors and peripheral drama. You really should watch the video before you get all pissy about it, man. Then he replies to TheQuartering saying he's just gonna do all the shit that people accuse him of by saying, are you saying you're going to flag channels? And TheQuartering responds, yeah, I'm flagging everyone. I'm calling my rep. Everyone is getting banned.
Dude, he is crashing out. He's actually just having a meltdown.
And Bering says,
dude, you may have to lay off the fucking alcohol before you actually, like, engage with these people.
You need to calm down and stop drinking, mate. Go watch my video. And TheQuartering says, nope, everyone is cooked. Remember, I can ban anyone I want. It's on.
Dude, this guy's crazy. Dude, because he's having this crash out and because all these crash outs are getting leaked and they're being put on display on Twitter, I don't even think we've reached, like, half of the end of this TheQuartering drama. Like, people are going to continuously try to go after him because all TheQuartering has been doing, he's been communicating, oh, it's getting to you, oh, all this fucking trolling online, all this, like, going after you and making you a lolcow, oh, it's upsetting you, and so people are going to keep doing it because they now know it upsets you.
And Bering says, listen, you sound like an irrational woman. You're coming at me for a video you didn't even watch. If you did, you'd realize I want the best for you. And TheQuartering says, you called me a alcoholic, which is insane.
You are an alcoholic. You do have an alcohol problem. Sorry, TheQuartering. I know that upsets you, but, like, you need to maybe go into, like, an Alcoholics Anonymous program or something to deal with it.
And Roz Alerts replies, whoa, this is genuinely a really bad look for TheQuartering. Mass flagging and copyright striking creators simply because they're criticizing or exposing you is not how you handle controversy, especially when people are already questioning the situation surrounding your coffee brand and business practices.
It's fucking crazy. Oh yeah, by the way, in case none of you know the controversy behind his coffee brand, his coffee brand was a white label. So coffee brand coffee was something he ran, but it was a white label for a different coffee product entirely. And he advertised it as, like, anti-woke coffee, and it's like, so too many coffee businesses are too woke, but not us. The white label he gets it from originally was from a place in Utah, and the owner is woke as fuck. She, like, if you look at her personal Instagram, she has, like, pride flags and everything, which, by the way, I lean on the side of, you know, pride flags being acceptable. You know, God bless. We fucking love that shit here.
Trying to silence videos instead of addressing the criticism directly only makes everything look even more shady and damaging publicly. Then blocking everyone because you don't like what are the oranges for. And Tyler Durpden says, this absolute coward hid Shu's reply, showing the Shu on Head tweet that we looked at earlier, comparing how a channel looks when it's banned versus deleted, and showing that the reply was hidden by TheQuartering. Joey Salads.
Damn. It really is funny seeing conservative and funny. Oh, speaking of conservatives, you got fucking Joey Salads here. But yeah, because I'm going to explain something to you guys. Because the left infights a lot, right? And I don't think that's like any secret. Especially during like 2020 TikTok and like during COVID, the left had like the dominant narrative because of how awful of a president Trump was during COVID and how terribly he handled COVID. He's still a dogshit president even now. And he's arguably even worse than he was in his first term. But like Trump has been such a terrible fucking president that like the narrative shifted left for them, and it got annoying. And once the party has the dominant narrative, they're more likely to infight because they're not really fighting against anything anymore. You know, there's no reason to fight against the right as much when you already have the narrative, and so you are more likely to fight with each other. Now, conservatives have the dominant narrative. They've had the dominant narrative for a decent amount of time now, and because the conservatives have the dominant narrative, we've been seeing a lot more infighting on the right now.
Replies to Bering's post by saying, what the f is wrong with this guy? How do YouTube reps even allow this maniac to get away with this? At what point does YouTube realize that TheQuartering is the problem and not everyone else? Cringe Charge tweets says, he keeps proving the idea. You die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the lol cow.
Honestly, kind of facts. Can't deny that.
Nina Infinity replies to Bering by saying, you were so fair in your video. He didn't even watch it. You said he needed rehab just like I did, and he blocked me for that. He can't even admit he has a problem. It's sad. And Bering also tweets out this screenshot of a quartering post where he says, I'm fairly certain all of the TISM episodes are still archived on BitChute, so when I get home, I'll send them to the boys to re-upload. And Bering says, no, they are not on BitChute. A 404 page not found. This may also occur if a user has removed their own video. It looks like they've been permanently memory holed.
That is so fucked up, honestly. Like, again, I have a hard time feeling bad for a lot of right-wing freaks online. It's tough for me to feel bad, but like a small part of me, I want to say like maybe 10% of me, feels a little bit bad for these people because I do understand how it feels to have a lot of your work just completely fucking deleted, especially when it's against your will, and considering that TheQuartering fucked them over, it's pretty insane. Again, hard time feeling bad for the 90% of me kind of just doesn't feel bad for these people, but there is a very small part of me that does.
At TheQuartering. Then Madam Savvy tweets out some more screenshots with the caption panic in real time. 3 tweets about re-uploading and making other people do the work. Who knows? Very odd. And we have multiple tweets here from TheQuartering in this screenshot. There's him saying everything is achieved. Please re-upload. Probably meaning to say archived. Him quote tweeting a post from Bering that we read earlier saying I fully approve all re-uploads. I don't know what the issue is, but yes, please re-upload. And then Hammock Enjoyer saying, whoa buddy, I really liked the TISM podcast back in the day. I wish all 3 of you guys the best. Hopefully Quartering can get his head out of his ass. And then Quartering saying, I hope it will all be back soon. Then she continues her thread saying, now TheQuartering is blaming an editor. And we have this screenshot of Quartering quote tweeting his tweet that we read earlier, saying all his live streams disappeared. And now he says, looks like this is 100% my fault. I was not clear on videos I wanted my editor to delete. I am working to restore what I can, and I will give the boys all the episodes of TISM to re-upload 100%. I had just been testing a theory that live streams drag channels down. I should not send signal messages while driving to a baseball game.
Driving to a fucking baseball game? So why are you then? Like, why even bother tweeting this tweet out if you're driving to a baseball game? Like, just like fucking avoid like talking about it then.
Wanted to clear live streams from my main channel, not all channels. The only thing that matters is TISM really, and I'm pretty sure I have.
If it mattered, then you wouldn't have fucking deleted the channel. He's lying again. He's lying again. If it mattered, you wouldn't have deleted it. Oh my god, he just can't take the L on this one.
them archived.
He refuses to take the L.
To somewhere. There's also this post by TheQuartering, which I screenshotted. I didn't see many people posting about this, but it is him saying, just got home from an amazing Brewers win. I had my editor delete live streams because they were dragging down the channels. Lost in the Mix was an old podcast from 2 years ago. There are several archives of it, and feel free to re-upload. People were using 10-year-old streams to try and ruin my life.
Try to ruin your life? Your life's not ruined. You can still make content, and you're still gonna do just as shitty as you did before. I feel like, if anything, the people trying to like relitigate these clips on you and making you a lolcow are just like, if any, that's the only thing that's keeping your career alive, if anything.
And so,
like, otherwise, like, your content is boring as fuck. You upload like 4 to 5 videos a day, and you're so boring, and you're not an interesting content creator outside of being a fucking lolcow. Like, what are you talking about?
I said, delete them all. That wasn't clear about the podcast channel. That on me. Then just bouncing around a little bit here, we have the Bering post where he releases DMs, and Andy Worski quotes it by saying, Bering felted quartering here. Honestly, what a snake move by Jer after how cool Bering has been to him over the years. This also instantly proved that no one flagged him. We didn't need proof to know that he was lying, but more confirmation is always nice. And PvP screenshots one of the earlier quartering tweets where he's just talking about everything getting disappeared from YouTube and says, if this was true, which it isn't, he deleted it himself, isn't he now an admitted bandivator on YouTube? Playing real games, Jer.
Okay, crazy.
Yeet then tweets out that TheQuartering appears to have deactivated his Twitter account.
Oh my god, he's had enough, guys. He can't take it anymore. Like, he just deleted Twitter. Maybe this is a good thing, honestly. Like, if he can't handle being a fucking lolcow and people constantly going after him, it's probably for the best that he just fucking deletes his Twitter account, genuinely. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Like, if this means that he'll make his life better, chances are it probably won't. But if it does, like, delete away.
And Raleigh the Stray Mutt replies, and nothing of value was lost. And then he also posts a screenshot that TheQuartering put on his community tab on YouTube with the caption, TheQuartering explains why he's taking a social media break after deactivating his Twitter X account. And it's TheQuartering saying, taking a social media break. We'll still have regular daily videos and live streams, but in case you noticed, my X account is gone. It's because it has been really an insane battlefield that I am 100% making worse by interacting with and egging some of these folks on. In fact, I can't even think of one good thing X has done for me in a long time, and the constant negativity is having a real world effect on me.
Yeah, no shit. Twitter is like a toxic fucking cesspool of just like insane shit that you constantly are fed in your feed. Twitter was already bad before Elon Musk took over, but if you thought that version of Twitter was bad, the Twitter that Elon Musk took over just got even worse, because now he just allowed a bunch of white supremacists to run rampant on his platform. And you're constantly being fed shit about, like, violent shit in your Twitter algorithm. You're constantly being fed just, like, insane fucking crap in the real world, and you get desensitized to it, and it's awful. Twitter is very unhealthy, just in general. No shit, it's going to have a real-world effect on you after a while. It is only having a real-world effect on you when you're the subject of it, and understandably so. But, like, you're the kind of guy that says you could take criticism, but clearly you can't, because you've been lying about all the criticism that you've received.
Making me do and say things I just would have never done before, and I can see it's become a problem for me. Going to take that time I was wasting there and focus on improving myself and being a better person. Join some stuff at church. I don't know, really. Just focusing on positive stuff. See you all tomorrow. And Cam Nuggets replies, taking a social media break, but it's still going to pump out my daily slop to collect money stealing other people's content. Jeremy Primus says, TheQuartering is a compulsive liar and an egomaniac. He's still on Twitter with burner accounts, searching his name and seething. Him. And Dramalord also tweets out that TheQuartering has deleted his X accounts, and Publius replies, I couldn't give less of a shit. The dude was c***ed. We're probably better off now. Mook Juice quote tweets the post by saying, the anti-Indian influencers are getting their due one by one. Sword of Truth says, all TPUSA shills should. Lib Supreme says, TheQuitering.
TheQuitering. Wait, that's actually kind of... Should I steal that for this title? Oh, man. I think we steal that for the title of this video. TheQuartering is perfect.
Andy Worski also posted that TheQuartering has deleted his Twitter account, and Toby Turner replies, I didn't even know he was sick. Ricky Berwick says, he'll be back. And Repsion says, just a simple deactivation. He'll be back. He is chronically addicted to online. And Mikey No More quote tweets Worski by saying, Jeremy became a major lolcow for like 2 months, and one big doc made on him and then immediately rage quit almost everything. Meanwhile, DSP is still trucking along after nearly 2 decades of A-logging and countless documentaries calling him a failure and a Ham's got no heart. And It's a Gundam replies, when a comment is so savage, you need to take a few moments to appreciate the savagery. Jaco Verde says, I think it was the stuff that did it. There's just so much evidence that he's either a or his marriage is just completely dead at minimum.
That is true. I mean, like, when we saw that the cuck stuff was coming out and, like, the bull stuff was happening, that's the part that really sent him on a spiral. That's the part he really started freaking out at, and he was blaming people for being like, stop bringing my wife into it, even though his wife has been a public figure for the longest time. So that was, I guess, the beginning of the end for TheQuartering on Twitter, despite the fact that he most likely is going to come back because TheQuartering is, like, super terminally online.
DSP himself then quote tweets Mikey by saying, I will never quit until I'm ready for retirement of my own choosing. I don't let what others say about me or do to me dictate my destiny. This indeed is the way. 0 Hour 1 also tweets out that TheQuartering has deleted his account after being trolled for days, couldn't take the heat, and Mr. Obvious quote tweets him by saying, he has a family, dude. I really don't get how you people feel justified in attacking entire families. You're evil.
Well, TheQuartering has went after other people and their families as well, so I don't really know if TheQuartering is exactly a victim of what's happening here. It's very tough to feel bad for him, especially when a lot of this is happening because of his own actions.
And Yellow Flash replies, he had no problem attacking families when he ripped the income from the Casey editors. He's a slimy snake pest. W. Keygod replies to Mr. Obvious by saying, his flagging literally took food off the Kino.
Dude, I can't with the way people talk on Twitter, man. It's just like, it's crazy. People get so fucking insane just, like, saying weird shit on this app. You just have to get off after a while and realize, yeah, Twitter is just not a real thing. It's like a majority of people are not real on Twitter. They fall into one of two categories. They either put a version of themselves there that they would not act like in the real world, or it's an AI-generated account, most likely. Or it's some random fucking account from, like, overseas that, like, doesn't matter. Like, it's just, like, people really need to stop taking Twitter so seriously.
Casino's editor's table. What does this fat F have? Funko Pops? A dying coffee company? A bull his wife gets plowed by? Off in. And
Dude, what is with people in this app being so comfortable saying slur? It's gotta be because of, like, Elon, and, like, we're in the Trump era right now, and so people have just gotten so fucking comfortable just, like, saying slurs on the app. It's insane.
Mr. Obvious replies, as someone who has known him, as far as I can tell, he's a stand-up guy who has always meant well.
Yeah, okay, dude. You're obviously going to be biased to him because you know him.
I don't know about his Kino Casino stuff, though. Is there stuff I'm not aware of? He was always extremely kind to me. I trust him.
This guy feels comfortable giving a take on something and then refuses to educate himself on the situation. Maybe educate yourself on, like, the tons of videos out on TheQuartering. There's plenty for you to explore.
And W. Key says, it's pretty damn obvious. The guy tries to LARP as a free speech advocate, but the moment anyone makes fun of him, he starts flagging them down. All of the money earned from the clip channel was given to their editor, who has a wife and kids. Now he is out of a job thanks to Jer. And Mr. Obvious says, oh no. No, no, no. Not that. That's the one line. I see. Yellow Flash Guy also tweets out about TheQuartering's social media break post that he made with the caption, lol, he turned the comments off, showing the post and also showing that comments are disabled.
He really is just not a fan of his lolcow era. He's not embracing it.
And Legal Minds.
Like, there's so many fucking, like, TheQuartering could honestly use this as a big opportunity to embrace the lolcow era and then make a shit ton of money off of it. Like, if anything, like, this is an opportunity to be like, cha-ching, cha-ching, let me make a fuck ton of money off this. Also, who the fuck cares about what Legal Mindset says? The fucking Go East guy who can't handle women setting boundaries for themselves on the West, so he goes East to have sex more easily? Like, who gives a fuck about what this passport bro sex pest has to think?
That also tweets out about the situation, saying, honestly, taking a break is the smartest thing Jeremy has done, because he was just digging himself deeper. And Jetta replies, hasn't Jeremy quit Twitter like 5 times this year already? He's only a few drinks away from thinking of that one tweet that will solve all his problems. Bering then also tweets out one of the last TheQuartering tweets before he deactivated his account. With the caption, you gotta admire the dedication. Meme copium in the trenches screen capping TheQuartering tweets 22 seconds after they're posted. And it's this screenshot of a TheQuartering tweet where he says, also, it really sucks that people around me are getting dragged into all this bullshit, and I am truly sorry for that. I will stop antagonizing the mob because it only makes it worse for them. I didn't really know how much BS others around me were dealing with, and I am sorry. Nicholas Diorio tweets out, TheQuartering is like a groundhog. Every time his drama looks like it's ending, he sees his own shadow, downs a bottle of Jameson, and announces 6 more weeks of felting.
So true. Nicholas Diorio, yeah. Tough stuff, man. It's really sad. I do hope that he fixes his alcohol problem, but Also, maybe stop being such a baby in your lolcow era, and maybe people won't find reasons to milk content off of you, myself included.
Shout out to our tier 3 members, internet representatives, Kiko, Salsad, Codus Bandito, Captain Crash Out, Dearboy, and the Noobster. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I'll see you on the next episode.
This is definitely not the last that we've seen of the quartering. He is going to continue to spiral, and eventually he is just going to... We're going to see, like, a massive crash out, like, on video one day. Like, we've already been seeing it on Twitter, but it's only a matter of time before we see it on, like, a live stream.